John's just retired from astronautics. He was one of the last men to make a moonwalk. John, are you all right, son? You're white as a sheet and you're trembling.
Nothing I can do. It's happening again. I'm changing.
And in several seconds, we see before us a man-wolf. It runs through the darkness as it hunts its quarry. And that quarry is man. The mark of the man-wolf. A man-wolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This season, we're talking about Marvel's number 2 lycanthrope, John Jameson, a.k.a. the Moonwrought Manwolf, Old Lobo, the Furry Freak, Night Brute, Fang Snout. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We have an exciting issue to talk about, Creatures on the Loose, featuring Manwolf, number 36. But first, I want to just point people to a Patreon poll that we've got going on. Jacob and I finally made some decisions. We've been talking about stuff for a while, and we finally decided, okay, here's what we're going to do. I mentioned this on the last episode, so we're going to do a total recap. But we are doing a season 3 of Werewolf by Night, and then we're doing a rebrand of the show. This is the important part. And sticking around 70s Bronze Age monster characters for the foreseeable future. So my poll was, knowing that, what would you suggest we change our name to so that we own it outright? Like, so that we could make t-shirts. And whoever's name if we pick one of your names for our rebranded podcast title for season 4, we want this to work in perpetuity. So we don't want it to be, the Ghost Rider podcast or the whatever. We want it to be a catch-all for whatever we might want to cover that we can own free and clear legally and pay a graphic designer to make a cool logo and put on shirts. And we would give one to the person who chose the name, obviously. So I want to make that clear that people are throwing out some names, and there's lots of like Marvel Bronze Age this and Monster that, and I'm all for that, but I don't know if we can own something with Marvel in it free and clear.
We cannot.
I don't think we can. So there's also the outlying possibility of like, what if we wanted to do iVampire down the road? What if we wanted to do something that wasn't Marvel? You know what I mean? Or like whatever. I do want to stick around the 70s. Someone mentioned to us, why don't you guys do that Planet of the Apes thing with Plug you were freaking out about? And I was like, damn, that kind of takes Monster off the list. So I don't know. I'm making a spreadsheet. Whenever somebody suggests something, I'm just adding it to the spreadsheet. And we have obviously we have a whole season and a half to figure out what we're going to do.
We do. But we've gotten really good suggestions so far. And we got like 10 suggestions from Michelle from Moonlit Comics. And can I tell you, they're all good.
Yeah.
Every one of them is
good.
good.
Advertising.
She should be.
She's like Krusty the Clown. She just comes in and bangs us out and goes, "Hey, bye. See you later."
It was very impressive when I got her email.
So that's an open-ended poll, but we were just looking like, which characters would you like us to talk about in season 4? And we've got some clear leaders, and we're not going to necessarily choose what wins, but we just want to gauge your interest and see if that matches up with ours. Hopefully it does. So the one thing that I did want to note that's been kind of fun is letting people know that this Patreon poll is open to the public. So you don't have to be a Patreon supporter to vote.
Nope.
So you can go to Werewolf by Night or patreon.com/Werewolf by Night podcast and find this poll and vote and say, hey, I think you guys should be talking about Brother Voodoo. What the hell's wrong with you? Or whatever, So go check that out. Speaking of other non-John Jameson characters, Jacob and I went to the cinema. And we saw a picture show.
We did. It was like yesterday. We went and saw the Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Except no substitutes.
No. And I don't know. I'll go first. I was pretty impressed.
I was floored. I was, when he was cast, it feels like that was 100 years ago because
it was 100 years
COVID,
ago.
But I heard that. And I had a major negative reaction to him for years because of Twilight, because I hate Twilight so passionately.
Well, obviously.
But then I saw him in something else. I was like, oh, he's rad. And I also would see him do interviews about Twilight and dig on the series and shit all over the books.
Yep.
In the promo tour, which I kind of admire. But then The Lighthouse came out and I was like, oh my God, I love this guy. Then I saw the guys that made that Adam Sandler movie, the Rough Jules cut rough
Uncut
cut stone-
gems.
Uncut gems. Thank you.
Yes.
I would have got there in about 3 hours.
You
A
would
couple-
have.
Army of chimps and a couple of typewriters. They did a film with him called Good Time. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
Where his brother gets arrested and injured in a dumb ass heist, and he has to like sneak him out of, he's being under watch at the hospital, and he has to get his brother out of like the emergency room.
Huh.
And it's interesting. I'm not a big fan of those guys, by the way, but but Robert Pattinson's amazing. And anyway, my thing was, the first time I saw him in the suit, the first time I saw a clip of him just beating the piss out of some dude on a L train platform, I was like, I'm in for this. I'm totally in for this.
No, me too.
Yeah. So everything I saw just made me more excited about it. And I know everyone says that Nolan, the trilogy, is the realistic, grounded, gritty Batman, but this to me felt like even more grounded and more real. And I don't know, it had everything. It was very gritty, very dark, very neo-noir, violent. But what excited me recently was finding out that the famous composer Michael Giacchino was doing the music, and I'm a huge fan of his stuff.
Yeah, he's amazing. And the my God, his score. I just don't think I've heard a better score for a superhero film.
I don't think I have either. I mean, the film stuck to my ribs, like a good novel does, or a good, anything, a good work of art like sticks with you for a while. And the film has, it's been the mood and the pacing and everything about it. The mise en scène has been with me, but the score has been with me. Like I've been thinking about it since yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, me too. I just saw, did you see the release today that Mondo's putting out a 3 vinyl set of the score? So yeah, we're going to have to get that.
Yeah, I need to get it. And I'm not a big soundtrack guy, to be honest. I own some Bernard Herrmann. I own some John Carpenter, like The Thing, or Morricone, I guess is really the composer. But I mean, I own some Morricone. I guess is
yes.
Mostly, I'm thinking about it. Yeah. It's mostly Morricone, but
that's fair. Yeah, for me, soundtracks. I dig some of the Waxman and some of the like early 40s and 50s stuff. I really dig, and then Morricone but the two like brand new score like soundtracks that I've bought on vinyl in the last like 5 years: The Dark Crystal and the Unsolved Mysteries score soundtrack on vinyl.
There's enough to make a press vinyl of the Unsolved Mysteries?
There's actually enough. I don't know if they pressed it on vinyl, but there's like a 4-disc set of all the cues and all the stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's a little more weird nostalgia, but
I thought you were going to say Twin Peaks: The Return.
Well, that's true. I mean, that goes without saying. Obviously, you and I own all of the fucking Twin Peaks stuff.
Yeah, Angelo Badalamenti is pretty much a win-win any soundtrack.
Yeah, he is. But my God, like Giacchino's just killing it. Like, just no one else is doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I almost like leaned over and talked, which is a cardinal sin to me. I do not talk during a movie. I hate it. But I felt like leaning over and saying, like, is this a motif that's carrying over from the opening? Is this like, I want to talk about the music the entire film. I know. No, it was mind blowing. Yeah, the movie itself, I mean, it checked a lot of Batman boxes for me. Number one, it's a detective story. Mm-hmm. I just want Batman to be a fucking detective. I really don't care about the tech. I really don't care about him beating the shit out of bad guys. I want him solving shit. Yeah. And I want Gordon in there a lot. And Gordon was in there a lot. And Jeffrey Wright was awesome. Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey Wright was so good. Yeah, and it was a detective story, and that's what I loved. And I mean, you've been talking to me for 20 years about the Riddler and what the Riddler should be. You've literally said this to me decades ago, that you said the Riddler should be the scariest villain and he should be a serial killer. Yep. And 20 years later, here we go. We get the Riddler as the Zodiac killer. So good on you, Matt. Thank you. I was really bummed when the third Nolan film came out and they said it was Bane. I was just like, really? Who gives a shit? I know. After Heath Ledger's Joker, isn't the obvious step to go to it's one level up? Yeah. Anyway. No, I know. So good. All the casting was good.
I know people are going to pick it apart, but I don't give a shit. I just, I rarely see comic book movies that I want to see again immediately.
Yeah, I know.
And though it was 3 hours long, and it was long. I mean, it was long. But the next day, I'm just like, oh, I'd watch that again. And I never say that because at my core, just like you and Brad and I have talked about, I don't think comics as a medium translates to film very well.
No,
at all. Like I just think comics and as a medium, comics time is its own special thing, and that's where those characters exist at their best form. Yep. I think they can obviously exist in film and have it be great, but I don't ever think it's perfect. And
it's never optimal.
No, it's never optimal. Yes, it's never perfect, but yeah, it's not optimal. And this new Batman movie got damn close.
Yeah, there was stuff in there where it's like just a frame of like the Batman on the rooftop waiting for Gordon to come meet him because the bat light was on. And you see the cityscape and these blood red skies in the background. And it's like, that looks like a Mazzucchelli drawing or something. Like it's like,
I felt like even Pattinson's lower half of his face, like that looked like a Mazzucchelli thing. I was just like, holy shit. Like that actually looks like year one.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a lot of year one.
Crazy. Like, and I know that technically this is probably like year 3 for this. It's his
Batman. Third year. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, this is, I don't know. I fucking loved it.
Yeah. I loved it too. It checked every box for me. There was like one part where I just felt, we talked about that. I just thought broke the pacing down in a bad way. And maybe think about time. Cause I was transported the first like probably 2 hours of this film. I did not, except for crossing and uncrossing my legs, I didn't move. I blinked and took it in. And then there was this one sequence where just kind of like, okay, I'm aware of the script now. I'm thinking about beats. I'm thinking about something didn't work. But then immediately got swept back up and again for the final couple acts. And yeah, I'm going to see it again with Renee for sure.
Awesome. Cool. All right. That was a little bit of a diversion, but I feel like we had to do that because you and I saw it yesterday and we're just so excited. And I know we sat in the parking lot and talked about it for a long time, but I just wanted to talk about it a tiny bit more.
Yeah. Well, I'm always willing to sit in the parking lot and talk about movies if you give me a hand job.
Yeah. Well, that's always been the deal and it always will be.
Yeah. Anywho's. Do you want to talk about a werewolf comic?
Oh, I would love to. We're going to talk about Creatures on the Loose number 36. And this is the beginning of the new direction for sure.
Yep.
This is Man-Wolf in space. This is crazy characters. We've been waiting for this since the first episode of this new season. So this is our introduction. It's a slow build for Creatures on the Loose 36, 37. Then it really takes off in Marvel Premiere 45 and 46, which we have a very special guest that is not announced yet that's going to join us for 45 that we are very excited about.
I love Brad.
Hey, I love Brad too. He's going to be on next episode. Brad's always going to be our number one guy. Why do you got to make it a competition?
I don't know. Just you got all excited about this person. I was like, don't forget where he came from, Elvis. He used to have pimples.
Yeah.
You know? Right on. So yeah, we're getting there. And this is actually slow for David Kraft. Like he seemed like the kind of guy that's like, no, I want Man-Wolf in space with weird characters now. And he would just open a Doctor Strange portal and just have him get sucked into something. But he's actually kind of baby stepping us, nudging us into this.
He has. And even though, I mean, what we've read in our research and stuff is that he had this from, this idea from the get-go, even from years before he started writing comics. But yeah, I wonder how much of that is editorial to where he's like, this is what I want to do. And they're just like, David, just hold on. Just let's get there a little slower. So I don't know. But we'll see. But I'm excited to talk about this issue with you because it is bonkers.
So this is cover dated July 75. And it's got a Gil Kane and Klaus Janson cover. And that's a kicky new Gil Kane signature box there, isn't it? His initials. I've never seen that before.
That's the first time we've seen it. I think he's done it before, but I don't think, I think that's a mid-70s thing for him.
Okay. Just felt very stylized Frank Miller-ish or something like.
I know, right?
Gil's feeling saucy one day.
He is. Well, it's just being paired with Klaus Janson. Maybe that's what it does to have him as your inker. You feel confident. You feel like a badass. So yeah, you're going to sign your name in a stylistic way.
I don't think we have a coloring credit for this, but I have some notes about the colors. But we'll move into the composition. So in the foreground, we have the man-wolf floating free in the empty depths of space. His tunic has been torn to shreds. He's kind of just drifting off from the circular space station that we saw that was the Hate-Monger space base. And a green-clad figure is coming out from the space base to grab him. And he has a big fin, like a, I don't know, what would you describe that? Like a big fin on the helmet. It looks cool. It's like a spoiler or something for Space Wind that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it does. I was really trying to figure out how to describe that guy. And I was just like, if the Slee Stack were a spacesuit.
Okay. It also looks like those creepy robot things from the Disney's The Black Hole.
Oh,
that had the
totally.
mirrored faces and he broke the mirror. Like you can see the microchips inside.
Ugh,
Those
God,
scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid.
That movie disturbed me as a kid.
Yeah.
So freaky.
So that scene's playing out kind of in the foreground and midground. In the background, there's a giant, I'm assuming it's Mars. It's red. It's probably adjacent to Earth, floating free. And we can even see the vessel that John Jameson took to get there kind of drifting off. So he is between two vessels out in space, loose. And the title says Murder by Moonlight. And at the bottom, there's an explosion that says, in the airless depths of outer space, the wolf beast battles for his life. And one of my issues with this is I'd never seen this one before. This was new to me. I love Gil Kane's. Love that he's sticking with that universal werewolf by night kind of beast face. I don't know why I dig it so much on the covers, but one of the things that made this feel muddy to me and too busy was there's a smattering of stars all through the background, and they have like a rainbow. Like George Rousseau or whoever just kind of came in and said, these ones are blue, these ones are red, these ones are orange, these ones are yellow, these ones are blue. And it just feels busy to me. If those had been white stars or half as many stars, I feel like this would have punched a lot more.
Yeah, I see your point. It doesn't bother me aesthetically.
You're not looking at it right. Look at it again.
Okay, I will.
Look closer.
I'm looking closer.
Now.
I'm not seeing Lucky Charms. I'm seeing the cool depths of psychedelic space. This is 2001. This is this is psychedelic, my friend.
Okay.
And it just continues on the next page, so get used to it.
All right.
So yeah, on the opening page, let's see, our creators for this issue are David Kraft, writer, George Perez and Frank McLaughlin, artists, Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Len Wein, editor, Petra G, colorist. We know that is Petra Goldberg. And okay, the title of the story is Weird Stone. And what did that? Is this like the font, the way it's tilted? That's referencing something. Is it a CinemaScope? Is that what it's referencing?
It looks like CinemaScope, yeah.
Okay, that's what I just had to. I almost like texted you before this and be like, I'm right? Like it's CinemaScope. So yeah, it says Weird Stone in these great letters. And this fucking page, my God, like it's just it's a giant head of the man-wolf. There's crazy stars and everything behind him, and they are multiple colors. I'm sorry, Matt. And then there's the rocket flying out of his gaping maw of his mouth. And the only thing that I would say about this is that his flat top's just here to stay, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very pronounced. I was taking the train back from Southern Oregon with my wife, and I was reading this weekend. And she looks over my shoulder and she's like, why does he have a buzz cut? That's so stupid. And I was like, oh, Matt's going to be very proud of you for saying that because he hates it. So, okay, so the backgrounds, you're complaining about the backgrounds a little bit. Well, let me tell you who did them, because it is not Frank McLaughlin.
Huh?
If you go to GCD, the Grand Comics database says that Frank McLaughlin inked the figures and Terry Austin inked the backgrounds for this issue. He's been at Marvel for 6 months. He's mostly done backgrounds, uncredited. He did some Thor. He did a couple other things. But in 2 years, of course, he's going to go on to ink John Byrne in the fucking X-Men.
which is
one of the greatest runs of all time. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. We actually get to talk about Terry Austin for a second. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that's wild. I did not see that when I was looking at the GCD page.
I haven't looked ahead to see if Terry Austin is going to be the anchor for the next issues, because I don't like to look ahead, because I'm afraid of your wrath, because you don't want us to look ahead.
Because I'll sit on your chest and drink chocolate milk and orange juice and dangle big, thick loogies over your face.
I know you will.
I had a big brother.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think of this opening page?
I appreciate your sticking to the rules here. By the way.
Okay. Well, I'll take that pat on the back. I will. I
love this page. I don't know how many splash pages Perez has done to date, but I think this is obviously his most ambitious one. It's giant roaring wolf head that takes up the entire, it's projected over space, and a rocket ship flying out of his mouth. I mean, come on.
It's so badass. Yeah, this is his most ambitious opening page for sure. I know he's done some really intense 2-page spreads over the last couple issues, but this, as far as an opening splash, this is fucking amazing.
And yeah, I don't love the top hair, but oh well. I'm starting to kind of become inured to it. So
I know you're never going to like it, but it's here to stay. That's on the model sheet. Let's blame Ramita for that.
Yeah. So on the next page here, we have lots of panels and words, and we're basically getting kind of a flashback, flash sideways to what's going on in the mission. It says, the undertaking is not unique. There was even a time in the not so distant past when such manned space flights were almost commonplace. Remember? No, I don't.
No, I don't remember that at all.
So we see John, and he's in a nice, natty little NASA outfit, which also suggests the tunic thing. That's just a John thing. The yellow and the green. This is NASA. This is what Nick Fury would be wearing next to him if they were both on this mission. So
yeah, but we always get but remember the way that it explains it, that the tunic is the lining beneath the suit that protects them from radiation.
Wait, so all NASA suits in Marvel have that lining in it?
Wouldn't that be great?
Because if there wasn't like an underoos set for 10-year-old boys, then I'd be upset, because it's literally what he has. Like,
yeah. No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
So he's flying this thing, and he's flashing back and saying, I'm really aware when I'm doing these dangerous missions of the fleeting nature of life. It took the Moonstone to do that to me. And, he says, I took it from the moon on a mission, and then Ralph Rox Sarson made a souvenir pendant for me, some souvenir. It affixed itself to my throat. So he's doing the whole thing. In case you just picked this up because you're like, ooh, space stuff.
Yeah.
He's telling us that he's a werewolf.
Yep.
And he's approaching this space station, which is very much like a 2001, like you said, like kind of a Kubrick, or I guess modern space stations now, like the big circular kind of wheel that, has access points. And he thinks rendezvous imminent, which I'm going to text you every time I'm meeting you somewhere.
Oh, please do.
That I'm on my way. Are you almost here? Rendezvous imminent. So he has a bandage on his face from his previous, probably when he crashed the space thing and when he fought Hate Monger and 8 Miles Up. I'm not sure what that injury's from, but it's kind of a way that Kraft cleverly, or maybe George, tells us that we're going to get a flashback here to explain some stuff. So he tries to dock, and he's like, I'm not receiving any transmission from anybody on board. Hopefully they can see me visually. And he only has 10 minutes to dock and get inside, because the rotation out in space is going to reveal the moon to him, so he'll be bathed in lunar rays, which will make him turn into the Man-Wolf, which is a problem when you're operating, NASA equipment.
Yeah, yes, it is.
So he's trying to do that very, you've seen delicate docking of, outer space. We have to get the same rotational turn before you engage. And then there's a, connection and all that stuff. So yeah, he needs to do that before he turns into a wild dog.
He does. And I love the next page, because it shows him doing that. He realizes, he's like, oh shit, I have 10 minutes. I can't do that long docking thing. I have to be a complete fucking badass, which is what he does. gets in his spacesuit, goes outside of the rocket, and he just kind of casually goes on a spacewalk, basically a space jump.
Yeah, he attaches a line to his vessel.
Yeah,
and
he hooks a line to the rocket and then jumps over to the space station like a fucking boss. I was just like, oh my God, this is John Jameson. Jumps over there. And then he's like, okay, if there's been some sort of power or mechanical failure, chances I can get in through a manually operated hatch. So he's made it to the hatch. He's starting to open it. He said, it's crucial to gain immediate entry before the stone at my throat reacts to the moon and awakens the beast within me. And then he sees that moon kind of rising over the crest of the earth. He's like, no, I'm too late. And I love that panel at the bottom. He says, I can feel my mind succumbing, my thoughts being transformed. And I love that he's just hammering on the side, like almost just, I don't know if it's just out of frustration
Dread,
or just
panic.
yeah, I mean, because he's been totally a boss, totally in control, but now he's like, oh, fuck, this is not good. And then the next panel says, there are no sound effects in space, only a great cosmic silence. Yet within his own head, Colonel John Jameson is screaming. And that final panel, we get this great kind of transformation. I think this is the best mid-transformation Perez has done so far. It's John. He has fangs. You can kind of see through the coloring that Petra's doing again. Because you take the coloring away and it's just him with like a goatee mustache thing. But Petra does this, and she's done this in the issues where she does it. It's a little bit of a blue. It's a blue coloring that kind of shows that fur is starting to come out. Mm-hmm. It's a cool way of illustrating that, I feel.
Yeah, I love that lunar blue that she uses for his fur.
Awesome.
And I love that. I mean, I might be reading too much into this, but in that last panel, his eyes, they look like one part panic, one part like animal rage. Like he's literally in between having a panic attack and turning into a mindless beast.
No, that is 100% what Perez has done there. And you can see it. It's obvious in his eyes. And that's so cool that he's able to convey that.
Yeah. On the next page, we get one small horizontal bar panel showing the moon rising even more over the neighboring planet. I'm assuming it's Earth, obviously.
It is Earth.
Of the orbit. And it says, then his consciousness is supplanted by another, a sable mentality. I was like, sable?
Ooh.
Jet black? That's
Yeah.
rad. A sable mentality that does not intellectualize, but instead responds directly to unfamiliar stimuli with consummate and suicidal violence. And there's this huge panel that takes up the rest of the page where it's just him adrift between the moon and the earth, and he's got that line attached to his belt, but he has gone ape shit, and he's torn off his NASA suit because he's probably a wolf and he doesn't like being in a cage, even if it's just made of fabric or whatever. Nope. So he's torn off, his helmet's floating away from him. He has just chunks of his NASA suit in his claws and is just roaring in rage, probably realizing as the vacuum of space is starting to suck his air out, that he's angry, but he's also fucked.
Yeah. And may I bring attention to some of the narration on that giant panel to where it says, the radiation screening NASA life support suit was not designed to repel harmless amounts of ordinary moonlight. So do you feel like that's talking about the tunic, right?
It is.
Okay. All right. I
think. I went back and forth actually when I first read this.
I know. Now that I just read that, I'm like, wait, is it his entire suit? But I don't know. Maybe we should just say that no, that's John's choice. This is just what he wears. It's like his good luck charm. He wants to wear these weird radiation tunics underneath. It's like wearing his favorite socks on every mission or something.
Yeah,
you know,
like a baseball, like a pitcher, superstitious pitcher. No, now that I'm reading this again, I think it was talking about his white suit that we were just mentioning on the previous page, the radiation screening NASA life support suit.
Okay, you're right.
His tunic doesn't support his life.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah. So he tore but his plan was we see from the dial or narration here was to get inside the space station and to get inside of an X-ray room that would be lead lined before the moon came up. So he had a plan.
He did
drink anyway because the plan was there was a lot of variables there.
Nah, that's a shitty plan. I'm drinking.
No contingency plan at all. I mean, they literally call Hail Marys moonshots. There's so many variables involved in getting a human being or a vessel landed on the moon, that it's literally the way you describe a miracle. And he said, I just have to do a miracle and then do it in time before I turn into a monster. So, yeah. I guess he did deserve a drink for that one.
Yeah, but what a cool page.
Yeah, that's a great page. And then you got stuck with flashback.
Well, I just, as I was trying to write notes for this, and I'm like, no, fuck it. I'm not writing notes for this. So basically, this is just an entire page that is flashing back between the last 2 issues. We get John meeting Joel and Mary, fighting the hate monger, getting taken into custody by Fury. So yeah, it's just catching the kids up if they hadn't caught the last 2 issues. And Matt, you have something to say.
I do. I agree with your way of just alighting over this, but middle row, right panel, what the fuck is the hate monger doing with John's hair? Is he caressing his hair, or is he grabbing? I kept staring at that, like, how do I parse this visually?
No, he's caressing John's hair mid transformation, and he's in his strength suit. So it's a little fetishy. No, I'm glad you reminded me of that. I think I read that the first time through. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I don't remember that.
And there should be a what if issue that's called "What if the hate monger tore out John Jameson's moonstone and affixed it to his own neck?"
Ooh, I would read that.
It's like season 72. Like,
yep.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Some crazy shit. Yeah. So after this page, you're all caught up, kids. You know what happened the last 2 issues of Creatures on the Loose. Now we move forward.
Yeah, and this basically is a flashback on the next page, but it's just flashing back to stuff we didn't see. So it's just kind of catching us up really quickly. Nick Fury explains to John that they found that hippie Joel in some cavern, and John is crying and saying he was my friend, and I was just lying there as Mary's holding him. And Fury reveals he's not actually dead, and we're getting him. We're going to life flight him into Atlanta right now, like he could possibly live. And he says, "But you, Mister, have a date at the Cape with an AWOL board or whatever. What do they call them? What do they call that when you get in trouble? Court martial.
EMPs are coming to get him for the court martial."
Yeah, and I love that he's like, you're under arrest, essentially, but, I'm going to follow you back there. You fly the rocket ship that the hate monger had, and I will follow you back, and I'll explain, blah, blah. I'll put in a good word for you.
Not only is he following him back, he's following him back in the sky sled. Fury was just like, hey, you drive that rocket. I'm driving this fucking sky sled.
Yeah, and he was doing barrel rolls and all kinds of crazy shit. But it was weird. I thought this was actually kind of poor coloring on Petra's part, because I did a double take before I even saw, that is the sky sled. Because I looked at it and was like, oh, they just stuck him on top, like riding in the top of like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's on the pegs of the BMX bike that is that rocket. It's weird. No, you're right. The coloring should have been a little more distinct for the sky sled.
Thank you.
Yes. No, you're right.
So it looks like he's embedded, but that's it.
Yes.
Okay. So they land at Cape Canaveral, and Fury's flying off, saying, I hope the kid makes it out all right. I told him I put in a word for him, which I did by radioing his higher up. So we get all the little loose ends tied up. Yes. And he says, man, I can't help wondering what kind of trouble it took to make Jameson go AWOL in the first place, as he flies off to secure Lake Rabun or go follow up on Joel's surgery.
He's Nick Fury. He has a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, a lot of cigars to smoke.
A lot of cigars to chomp on. So
I always wonder, like, does John have like weird emotional responses to Nick Fury that like it's like, I'm sorry, dude, it's just my dad. Like, my dad smokes cigars like every moment he's awake. You smoke cigars every second you're awake. So sometimes I project shit on you. I'm sorry, it's not you. It's JJJ.
Yeah. And Fury is, like 70 years old, I guess, at this point, if he was fighting. I know.
But he smokes them on the toilet. We know that.
He does, yeah. All right. So on the next page, we see that we switch to John being met by a Major Bradley, who I think it's funny. He kind of kindly gives him a jacket since he's still in his destroyed tunic that's basically now like a set of hot pants. Mm-hmm. And yes. And then he's escorted into an office Well, I love it. He sees his old buddy. The guy comes and says, "Welcome back, John." He says, "Ralph Sarson, I didn't expect to find you in here, old friend." And I was like, "Rocks." I wish he called him Rocks, though. That would have made
that was a miss.
That was a miss on Kraft's part. He should always be Rocks, never Ralph Sarson. But he does remind us. He says, "As you may guess, Dr. Campbell didn't call me from research and quarantine just to say hello to you. He's always got to brag about what department he's in."
We've seen your LinkedIn page, dude.
Oh my God, he won't shut up about it. And so, but then I love the what the hell? Like, this Dr. Campbell guy whips his head around like he's in a Mentos commercial. It's like, "That's right. I've got a crisis on my hands, Colonel Jameson, and your friend's here to witness an offer I'm going to make."
So Rox is also a notary?
Yeah, Rox is there as a witness.
So weird.
Oh, man. So Campbell says, "As for you, I called off the FBI AWOL, break and arrest. You're up for a court-martial. But if you're willing to volunteer, I can't force you to take the risk. I'll see that the charges are dropped." So then on the bottom panels, he basically lays out, he's like, "Okay, this is your mission if you choose to accept it. All communications and data feedback from our orbiting space wheel ceased abruptly late this morning, and government cutbacks have crippled us. It's the 70s.
Yep.
The only serviceable craft available at once is yours," in quotes, being the rocket he stole from the hate monger. And Rox comes back in. He says, "There are 30 people aboard that station, John. Will you go?" And John says, "I'll go on condition." Campbell says, "What's that?" On the final panel, John says, "These shackles come off my wrists, and I get locked in solitary confinement tonight." And we see that the moonstone is glowing around his neck.
It's a glowing.
A glowing, yes.
Yeah, and they've kind of, I don't know, at some point they took Nick Fury's stubble and put it onto John.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know how often John has shaved over the last several weeks, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of an odd choice.
It's a weird choice. Again, it's one of like two kind of miscolors that I think Petra does.
Yeah. But, other than that, I thought it was a little weird that they gave him a Navy, suit jacket to put on. It's not like he's in mixed company or like the Queen's there or.
Yeah, it just makes him look like a stripper.
Yeah, it looks like he slept over at his boyfriend's house and he's just getting up to make some coffee in the morning really early. I didn't know what to put on. Is this okay?
It's quite sexy.
It is. We cut to... No, that is an abrupt cut. Okay.
Yep.
We see the moon up, not full, but up, and it says the first part of the proviso, I can never say that word. Proviso. Right?
Proviso.
Okay. The first part of the proviso seems reasonable. And the second does not, which is the Locky cam up, but they do it anyway. And this top row of 5 panels is these long, skinny, vertical ones that adjust a little bit in size, but it starts outside looking up at a building at the moon. And then we go inside. It's very cinematic. The inside of a hallway looking at a barred door with a black window. And then it pushes in as the narration continues. Saying, despite certain misgivings concerning the latter, both are carried out. The camera pushes in more to where the black window almost takes up the entire panel. It says, "Moonrise brings subtle radiation that penetrates far beyond the range of visible light." And then it's essentially like the camera pushed in through the glass and the man-wolf has done a jump scare and pressed up against the glass with his claws and he's growling right in the camera's face, which is super effective.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that 5-panel sequence was so cool.
Yeah, very. George was definitely thinking cinematically here. And the bottom part of the page is 6 equal-sized panels, and it's just kind of showing the fury of the man-wolf. Like he's it says perceptions alter, and he's banging against the glass that we just saw. And then it says reason then tolerance fades as he punches the ground. And only inarticulate violence remains. And he's just like, looks like he's grabbing his face or like scratching at himself. It's all symptoms of the curse. Perhaps aren't they also typical of human response when reason fails? And he kind of just crouches down like in exhaustion or frustration onto the ground and just crumples. It says, once again, it has been at least 24 hours since this strained and weary figure has known sleep. Anger subsides, defeated by fatigue. And then we cut to the morning when the rocket takes off and we're kind of back to where we started.
Yeah, what a cool page.
That's a weird page.
It's weird, but yeah, I love the angles. I love what it conveys. And yeah, that top 5 panel sequence is just super badass.
Yep.
So on the next page, we are back to where we left off at the beginning of the issue with the man-wolf suffocating in space. So we see, just like the figure on the cover, green. And it kind of looks like one of those frogmen from Johnny Quest in space. That's what I think he looks like.
Yeah, I wish I could place this fin.
I know.
It looks super familiar to me, but I can't.
Yeah, half Sleestack, half Frogman to me. But
like isn't there a character called the Swordsman that was like?
Oh yeah.
Didn't he have one of those kind of things?
He did kind of.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
I know, right? Everything that we're thinking of comparing this to him, it's almost there.
Yeah.
So anyhow, this guy, this green spacesuited individual comes out, says the hatch opens, disgorging somewhat belatedly a knight of Succor. He moves swiftly. We see that this guy not only is in a spacesuit, he has a giant sword attached to his spacesuit, which is our first clue that something different is going to be happening this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Says about the new spaceman, he moves swiftly, and the macabre moon beast offers little resistance. After all, exposure to such hostile conditions should certainly prove fatal, though in this case, it does not. So yeah, we expect, the man-wolf to, he should have died. His eyes should have popped out. But no, it says in the narration, the unearthly stone pulsing at man-wolf's throat has seen to that. He recovers quickly, almost silently, as air rushes into the chamber. So, aside from this moonstone actually giving him, super strength and stuff, we now know that it gives him super resilience as well. And he can survive, at least for a tiny bit, in the airless vacuum of space. So that's pretty cool.
Like Joe Fixit.
Exactly like Joe Fixit. It all goes back to Joe Fixit. And it says, but the uncontrollable rasping of oxygen-starved lungs betrays him. Yet even so, and so yeah, we see that the man-wolf comes immediately to, and the guy in the spacesuit kind of looks across his shoulder, is like, oh shit. And then the man-wolf is up, growling, moonstone a-glowing.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think after risking your life to save someone from dying that they would turn around and attack you the moment they got air in their lungs, but that's the first thing the man-wolf does.
It is. There's like 2 seconds have passed, and immediately he attacks.
Yeah, and he would have completely jumped him, except for the fact that his lungs were rasping because he's like,
yeah,
with newly found oxygen, and that's what alerted the guy to getting jumped. So we get another in the same position here, by the way, in the issues pages, another 2-page spread.
Yep.
Remember that
Same
happened
position.
in Man-Wolf Werewolf by Night for several issues where I always had the 2-page spread.
Yep.
We never did figure out if that was some type of like typesetting convenience thing, like with a printer, like it would save money to just like have a setup.
Honestly think it is. I don't think I've ever had the 2-page spread.
You haven't?
I don't think I have. I think that is a complete limitation of comics. The 2-page spread has to be in this spot.
Or we did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo that I thought out way before I even proposed this podcast. And I just kind of nudged you towards it with a bunch of psychological Jedi shit.
You were just like, I think I should
maybe
do the
you should do the
cover.
first page.
Yeah, I'll do the title page and you do, yeah. No, kudos, sir.
Thank you. So we get a big spread here of the interior of this space station, and it's not science accurate. But there's an inset in the upper left-hand corner. It says his attack cannot be evaded, and the man-wolf slashes at this green-clad centurion. I don't know what the hell he looks like. He looks like a knight or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And it says crack, and he's fucked him over. And then he jumps into this big, huge chamber that's got cameras everywhere. There's a guy off in the distance looking at a bunch of monitors. One has a man-wolf on it. One has Gimli from Lord of the Rings on it. One has the green guy. So there's a guy with white hair and a purple robe watching all this from a bank of computers. And in the foreground, that same Gimli-looking guy with a giant staff is jumping through the air towards the man-wolf. And it says here, the environment, until now unfamiliar to the man-wolf and lacking any life forms that might represent the chaos to which he was awakened by lunar rays, has suddenly been translated into terms he can understand. The rampant chaos of physical violence. So the man-wolf is throwing the Green Knight into a bank of computers on the right side. This bearded psycho barbarian guy is jumping towards him saying, with the staff out. And the old guy at the bank of computers says, Garth's been taken off guard. Lay into yon brute quick-like before it has a chance to follow up on the attack. And the dwarfy, beardy guy says, I hear you talking, Lambert. Gorjun's got good ears, and he ain't about to waste time. So we have Garth, Lambert, and Gorjun. Gorjoon.
Oh, man.
Occasionally, the man-wolf can comprehend isolated words or phrases, much like my black lab.
Yes.
Especially when the moon is on the wane, such as now. However, the utterings of these men are maddeningly unintelligible. Alien. There's a little asterisk that says translated just for you by Lynn and Dave. The moon's not on the wane right now. They're out in space. It's a full moon forever. As long as they're following the moon's orbit like this.
Yes.
So I felt like he would have noted that. Like, it's kind of a cool, natural phenomenon. Like, the whole exposure to the lunar rays by being shielded as a cycle goes through by the Earth is gone now.
No, that's gone. It's 100% lunar radiation.
He's just beast.
He's only beast.
Gorjun.
Oh, Gorjun. See, so this reminded me that it's kind of almost like a weird transition of like half space station and half like the Flash Gordon set.
Yeah, totally.
In a way, with like the monitors and the guys in big red swivel chairs.
Yeah. And
again, I mean, if you already didn't notice by Gorjun's appearance and staff, I love that one of the lackeys at the computers say, "Pay into yon brute." I was like, "Oh man, we're switching gears here. We're into some shit."
Yeah. Once Yon gets out, all bets are off.
Oh man, yeah. Even though I mean, I'm going to mention it later on, but wow, just the dialect and syntax is all over the fucking place with these characters. Sometimes
it's almost like they're not from here, Jacob.
Almost like they're not from here, but they're speaking merry ye old English half the time, and then they sound like the Bowery Boys the other half of the time. It's very confusing.
I want to live in that world.
I want to live in that world too, but I almost feel like that's what is in David Kraft's head. Mm-hmm. Like, people just keep switching back because this is a thing for him. Like, we noticed it with the Peg Leg Hillbilly guy. Mm-hmm. We've noticed it before. Like, this is a Kraft thing, to where people's voices and mannerisms will change wildly, even mid sentence.
Yeah, I'll knock ye old stuffing out of you.
Yeah, they will knock ye old stuffing out of you. All I can think of is reading that transcript of that podcast that he was on, the Comic Historians one, where they were talking about psychedelics, and Kraft was just like, I didn't really touch them, but then this one guy like came to me and said, I have like 30 tabs of acid, and he's like, okay, I'll buy all of them. And so he buys all of them because he's like, I didn't know when else I'd have the opportunity to buy acid, and then I just took them all for like the next week. I just stayed super high. And then I never did acid again. I was just like, all right, maybe that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe that explains a lot of these issues. We'll see.
Yeah.
So on the next page, Gorjun smashes his staff into John's face, saying, take that, beast man. First a kiss from my staff, and then a nice big hug. So he takes his staff, puts it behind John, just crushes his body up against him.
He's a bear.
He's giving him
a hug.
Kiss and a hug with the staff. And
looks like a bear.
He does. He's hairy as a bear.
Yeah.
And then
you know what I mean by bear.
Oh, I know what you mean by bear. Yeah. Then it says, the guy at the computer panel says, be not so cocksure, Gorjun. A little caution would suit you well. So yes, he's speaking very formally. Then Gorjun says, "Ha, gotcha now, Fang Snout. So much for caution." So Gorjun's feeling pretty sure of himself at this point, but then Manwolf comes to and just chomps into this guy's shoulder. Actually drawing blood. Gorjun says, "Yarg!" And the narration says, more like, "So much for Gorjun."
I love that last panel where those words are, where we're just seeing Garth's helmet and the Manwolf's reflection in his face panel.
It's pretty cool.
It's a weird choice. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I mean, it makes sense because Garth is ready to respond, but I mean, just interesting perspective there.
Yeah. Next panel says, "But his friend is recovered," and Garth has unsheathed his sword, which is mighty.
Yeah.
And has, extra teeth.
Teeth?
Like it's a fucking chainsaw blade or something.
Yeah. It looks like some like weird fish that you'd find like no one's seen, like it's at the bottom of the depths of the ocean, like some weird, like those lanternfish and shit.
And
like
that's his weird snout with all these weird teeth.
Totally.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it says, "And he swings a mean sword." So he was about to cut him and then kind of gave him a glancing blow instead that sent him crashing against the machinery. And Garth says, "I diverted my stroke, Gore. You know why, don't you?" And Gorjun says, "Yeah, I was looking right at it when he bit me. The Weird Stone."
One word.
Yeah, that's our big reveal.
What does Garth's helmet glowing yellow mean? Is that like just showing that there's like a comms system in it? Like, like Yellow Submarine? Like, I'm trying to figure out what the hell this is. He's not psychically talking to him because it wouldn't be a word balloon. I don't know. I was just tripping out on that. I was like, wait, what?
It's weird. Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
But the Weird Stone is here.
Yep.
Got a new name for this. Moonstone, Weird Stone.
Now we're going to call it the Weird Stone from now on.
Well, there's another name coming up later this issue.
Yep.
It keeps going. And then I was so relieved to come back to New York City to Christine Saunders' apartment. I was worried that Kraft was going to be so focused on getting Manwolf to space that he was going to leave us high and dry with this storyline, with the character that we connected with on that one issue, in peril. So if
it's not good though.
Yeah, no, it's bad. So Harrison Turk appeared last time and said that he was her substitute art teacher and got into her apartment. And so, man, I hope that Athena's smarter than this.
Yeah.
So he comes in, he's taking his green jacket off, and now he's just wearing his yellow turtleneck and looking at a canvas, a work in progress, and stroking his billy goat beard. And he says, "You seem upset." And she says, "I am. My fiance is missing, and I'm worried about him. I don't think I can handle an art lesson tonight, Mr. Turk. Right now, I'm not even sure I can handle my own thoughts." And we get a close up on him looking menacing with his crazy arched eyebrows. "It's easy. Just relax. Got it?" And then he touches his belt buckle and activates something, and this sonar type of effect comes out, much like when Daredevil's reading the room, and says, "That's why I'm here, to help you." So creepy.
So creepy. Why does he always say,
It's a thing. And I gotta come clean, Jacob. I looked this guy up.
Come on.
I had to.
Okay, well,
I was concerned that I was
then.
never going to see him again. I looked up like how many appearances does he have? I was hoping to not spoil stuff, but I saw a character design, so I know stuff about him.
You're not going to let me in on it?
No.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to know?
No, I don't want to know.
Okay.
I mean, of course I want to know.
Okay, he's a character called Lunatic with a K. And he's like from another dimension, and he thinks he's like a servant of good and justness. So like he just comes and like misreads situations and attacks people. Like I think who it was. I think it's Kraft's Defenders where he fully gets revealed as who he really is.
Okay.
And
well, he thinks he's God.
Yeah, and he keeps like inserting himself into situations. Like the way they tried to trap him was they put a statue of Spider-Man down like in the middle of like downtown or wherever they were. I don't know if it's San Francisco or where the hell Defenders were, if it was in New York, but like they thought, oh, he'll read that as being like a guy who thinks he's better than everyone else. So he'll come and like attack the statue or something. He looks like the Creeper. Kind of.
Yeah, he does look like the Creeper.
No, I mean when he's like his color scheme when he's changed.
Oh, really?
He has like a quarterstaff, and he's like,
oof,
he's
yikes.
weird.
Okay, no, I'm glad. I'm glad you filled me in on that.
Okay. So that's the top row. In the middle row, on the left, we have these two panels of psychedelic gorgeousness of, again, that kind of circular, emanating, kind of pulsing, whatever. But inside of it, Christine Saunders is kind of like melting and morphing and stretching like liquid in a lava lamp.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So the radiating pulsing stuff is baby blue and even lighter blue, and she's kind of this like weird muted purple in it, and it's wild.
Yeah.
And then she passes out and collapses, and he says, "I have succeeded where Craven the hunter failed me last night. So now we finally know who was paying Craven. But the girl shan't die yet, for a new idea comes to me. And why not?" And it reminds us that was issue 33. And he says, then we get a picture of him yelling madly. It looks like a Sal Buscema drawing or something. He says, "I am, after all, God."
Oh, man.
Then we jump to JJJ's offices. And we're still... So I'm neglected to mention this. The start of this was 88 and a half hours ago. And now we're jumping up to 62 hours later. Whew. So we look inside of Jonah's office from the outside, and Stroud's yelling, "Just what is it with you, man? Why the way you've been running off at the mouth with the snappy answers to all my questions, you'd have been a credit to the Watergate cover-up." And Stroud, we're inside his office now, and Stroud's holding two envelopes. One says Man-Wolf data, and one says Records John Jameson.
My favorite part of the issue. Weird.
So funny. And JJJ is just there with his arms crossed, smoking a cigar, and he says, "Is that so, Stroud?" It's like, why that one panel just killed me.
It did me too. I laughed so hard at it every time. I read this a couple times, and that was my favorite.
It reminded me of what's his name with the werewolf files. Remember
exactly. Exactly.
Good stuff. We need more werewolf files.
We do need more werewolf files. So on the next page, Stroud continues saying, "You know it is. And you know your son blew it by skipping out. Now cut me some slack, Jameson. Spill it." Jameson's like, "Don't push me, punk. I don't like it. I told you and those two clowns from the FBI to lay off." And then here come those clowns. The two FBI guys walk in, say, "You know us, Jameson. You just got done calling us clowns." Jameson's like, "What is this, Grand Central Station? I pay a secretary to keep pests like you out." The FBI guys basically just say, we stopped by to pass along some news that Colonel John Jameson surrendered himself to authorities at Cape Canaveral this morning. And then in giant letters that Orzechowski does on there, it says, "There, you see? My son did the right thing. What I tell you all along, he's a Jameson."
Stroud and JJJ in a room together. It's like Nielsen and Lennon, like just out screaming themselves on Pussycats. Like, who can have the harshest vocals?
Yeah.
Who can ruin their angelic vocal cords the fastest?
There's blood on both their mics, Yeah. No, the decibel level of fucking Jonah and Stroud in one room, it's deafening. So Jonah's yelling like, "Ain't got much to say now, do ya? Go on, crawl back to your holes, weasels, and never darken my doorstep again." So Stroud's kind of escorting the other two guys out of here, like, okay, let's just let this guy yell for a while. I like that Jonah's like, "I think I'll write an editorial about the FBI and the CIA, or whatever it is you're involved with these days, Stroud. You'll be sorry." So he's just yelling at them, screaming at them as they're leaving his office. But then Jonah collects himself, and he's like, "I've got to call Christine right away and let her know about John. It'll take a load off her mind." So then he says, "That's strange, no answer. Maybe she's out." And then we hear the phone ringing in Christine's apartment, and the painting, which now we see was of John, is on the floor, and there's either paint or blood all over it. So we're properly terrified now.
And is it growing macrame?
Yes, it is. Macrame grows.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I'm assuming it's paint, but still kind of a haunting, you know, sub here.
Yeah, it is. Shit.
So we get a really cool sequence here on the next page on the top half, which is like a cross section of shaft works inside of this space station. And I'm going to save a bunch of time here by just saying, have you seen Die Hard? You know how he falls down the elevator shaft and he's banging around and he grabs onto one vent and he pulls himself in. Man-Wolf does that. He's free falling down, catches the ledge of one vent, and then pulls himself up and is off, just like barely even phased by it. Just like, rah, rah. Once he gets his feet on ground, he just keeps moving. He's like a Tonka truck.
He is.
But Kraft has some pretty words to go along with this little sequence here. It says, abrupt displacement. First, space shock. Second, disorientation and angry conflict. Third, sheer animal panic. This is as he's free falling down the shaft. And then as he falls and catches himself, they've all transpired in stunning succession, yet failed to disrupt his self-preservation instinct. And then the panel where he's pulling himself up into the shaft he has grabbed onto. But is it an instinct, or instead has he been hyper-stimulated by the darksome pendant that is now part of him, relentlessly simmering somewhere in Jameson Man-Wolf's psyche, Jameson stroke Man-Wolf psyche? And then as he goes trucking off down the vent he's pulled himself into, lies the answer which he has alternately pursued and evaded. This flawed, mutated life cannot be reality. The past few weeks cannot have occurred. And then we see where this shaft has taken him to. And it's just kind of the gutty works of the inside, you know, the not pretty parts of a space station. And we cut to Lambert and we see the guy who, I'm assuming this is Garth.
Yeah, I think so. And it took me through my second read to be like, okay, this must be Garth without his spacesuit on.
Yeah, so Garth has removed his...
Yeah, it doesn't say his name. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, we're led to believe, we believe this is Garth without his green gladiator suit on. And he looks like He-Man meets Thor. He's very Northern European ideal. And he's got a chainmail tunic on, a big ass like wrestling belt, a loincloth, knee-high boots, thigh-high boots. And he's kind of like brooding over it's weird because it looks like they're in some fancy 19th century European den, but it's also a space station. It's like describing a dream to somebody. It was my high school, but it was Disneyland, you know? So yeah, and that Lambert guy who has a giant mustache, like Captain Crunch mustache. He's like, Gorjun and ye both espied the Godstone. There's no mistake. That could account for the human beast, though the animal could be native too, for I am most unfamiliar with this realm. So now it's being called the Godstone, Weirdstone and Godstone. I like this.
I love it.
And this Garth guy says, perhaps, but as a hunter, I have stalked all manner of creatures, and I have never seen such a man monster. He wears the Godstone. As he's whipping his head, doing that photo trick I told you guys about a few episodes ago, where you say, count to 3 and turn your head to the camera, and you take that picture right then. It's the best photo ever. Hot face. Hot face.
Yeah, what a great, it's a weird page, but yeah, that reveal. Yeah, I know. What's the guy's name? Lambert?
Mm-hmm.
The sheepish lion. And his mustache, it's Captain Crunch, Sam Elliott level of facial hair. Yeah. When
the guy that plays Oz and Wizard of Oz is the doorman who prevents them from getting into the Emerald City.
Oh yeah.
That's the mustache.
You're right. That is. Yeah, but that is perfect. So on the next page. So yeah. Yeah, I in my notes I just call him Prince Adam because we didn't have a note for him. So I'm just like, that Prince Adam tells Gorjun, nurse your wound, stout one, and leave the fighting to me. Perhaps that bite's taught you the error of your brash and vociferous ways, though I doubt it. And I love that all Gorjun replies to him is, suck an egg, blondie. And is this being translated?
Yeah, I know. It is.
It said it was translated, so this is
it said
translated.
Wayne and Kraft were doing the translation for us. So whatever the alien, wherever the unearthly realm is they're from, they said the equivalent of suck an egg, and Kraft translated for us.
I don't know why that just tickles me to no end. Oh my God.
I almost looked up, like I get into these little, turns of phrase and the history and the first use in print. Like I wonder, like, when did suck an egg first appear? I bet it's a lot longer ago than I think.
And
but you hear like
Roman?
in the 50s, like in JD movies and stuff like that. But I bet it was like around, like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, it was probably 1,000 years ago or more. And so we see Garth basically going down that same shaft, kind of mirroring what Manwolf did, jumping into the to the side shaft. The narration says, and ignoring lacerated elbows and chafed hands, he acts decisively.
Well, but it is a contrast to the way the Manwolf came down, though, because he's actually pushing himself up against the shaft and using his legs and his arms to walk down. And it's saying, despite the massive strength required, right? I mean, he descends quickly. Like, this is the antithesis of the Manwolf.
Yes, I think I meant just in the same layout of shafts.
I'm sorry.
Is that he's going, definitely a different way, but he's following the Manwolf. So it says, he acts decisively after the fashion of a natural hunter. And I love that last panel on the second row where it's just, looking down this long corridor. We just see a tiny outline of the Manwolf there. It's so cool. And then the next panel is this great panel of Garth just screaming, "Wolf!"
It's all throaty and like that big, like that too. Like, wolf!
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the reaction.
And it's another one of those turns. It's that 3/4 turn of roar. There should have been a question mark at the end of that roar, though.
I think that he's got his hackles up. I don't think there's a question mark here. I think this is a come get some. Like, he's taking all comers at this point. He's pissed.
It. But Garth just runs obviously as fast as he can, says, "This is what it feels like to get jumped from behind," and just kind of, lays into him, knocking him across the room. It says, "Spack." After he says what it feels like to get jumped from behind, and then the next word of the narration on the bottom panel is bad.
And that's when I knew that he was Garth. It took me up to this point, like, oh, okay, he jumped Garth.
Yep.
Now Garth's
that's our confirmation. But what a cool angle on that bottom panel. It's like a canted angle from way above. And we see these tubes that are full of like Kirby Crackle or Plug Plasma. Mm-hmm. It's just so cool. Both. Yeah.
And
both exist. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you can see down all these levels, right? That just like these pipes run through. So you see just the scope of this place. And that really these two guys in red on the top story that we see, like, just look kind of small and insignificant.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I love that Petra colored them red too. I love it.
Yeah. I love that choice. We get a great action sequence on this page as this issue winds down. So he has knocked the Manwolf back, and the Manwolf's gotten back up, which was that last panel we were talking about. And Garth says, "Do not seek to rise." Like that. We're just like, don't bother getting up, dude.
Don't.
And the Manwolf responds with I love the way George draws this roar here. Like, I mean, that's like the biggest we've seen his mouth open outside from when he was a specter in outer space on page 1. And his eyes, like, we get a smash cut close up into his red eyes, just kind of like rolling up in his head. Like, he's, even for the werewolf, he's not here anymore. Like, he's gone to that Hulk rage center.
Yep.
And he dives forward. It says, "Conversation is a burden and words are abandoned when ribs start cracking." And he dives into Garth, slamming him into one of the mechanical walls, and just like chunks of like metal and plastic are like flying everywhere. And he does this weird, like, he takes both fists and smashes them together like you would cymbals at the end of a big symphony. But he just, Garth's head is in the middle instead of cymbals. It says Manwolf's reply is in nonverbal dialect, body language. And then Garth responds by kind of back fisting him with his gauntleted hand. They're just going all out here. It's just savage. It says, yet its meaning is quite clear and graphically enunciated. And the Manwolf picks Garth up, ready to body slam him. I was like reaching for my shot to take a sip. But then as Garth's floating in the air above the Manwolf, he says, got to grab something to keep from being smashed to the floor. And then he sees a big metal wiring thing, and he says, a power conduit, and I'm not grounded. And he yanks it out, tears it, plug plasma and all that stuff starts, like, you know, electricity starts going out. And he says, but the man wolf is. And we get this exciting conclusion.
So yeah, the exciting conclusion is he just shocks the shit out of the man wolf. And I love that first panel, even though there's so many like layers of shock and electricity. It's almost too busy in a way. I don't know if that's Frank McLaughlin inking it just a little too busy like, but there's so much going on, and it's colored. Every layer is a different shade, and it's just a zat. So Man Wolf's down, and Garth says, "Not bad, but he's plenty tough, and I can't let him recover." And so he just punches him full in the face one more time, and then we get a final panel. Shows Garth just looming over the man wolf, and he says, this man wolf's life means nothing to one in quest of the weird stone. Then we get our next issue teaser. It says next issue, Moonbound.
Can I tell you what the last issue's next issue was?
Yes.
Moonbound. I'm serious.
I know.
Okay, I just had to double check.
No, it is. I noticed that too.
Okay, yes. So
yeah,
he's been teasing Moonbound for a bit.
Man, they are all over the place with these titles and teasers. Like, I don't know if any of them have been correct so far.
Some stuff I love on this last page. That big, huge panel at the bottom as Garth towers over him. He's pulled out a dagger from his belt, and it's like a scimitar, like it's curved like that. Like, so he's got this many different cultural kind of references going on here. And I love in that third panel when Garth's thinking, you know, he's been electrocuted, but he's plenty tough. In the foreground, like Garth is like let go of the conduit. So there's like this electrical crackle in his hand in the foreground, but in the background, the werewolf has his hands crossed like in an X over his face, and he's smoking.
I know.
Like he's just kind of shielding himself from the burn, but he's already recovering.
Yeah.
Because of the moon / god / weird stone.
That's right.
Yep. So that was the penultimate issue of Creatures on the Loose, guys.
That's right. We just have one more issue that we'll be covering next week with director Brad Elmore.
Yep. Final thoughts?
I mean, it has been building up to this. We didn't know. I mean, we kind of knew, like you and I aren't as familiar with this run, but we knew that he was going to end up in space. We knew that it was going to be a sword and sandal space sorcery epic. And it took a while to get there. But yeah, with this issue and then with next issue, we're going fully into this next phase of Man Wolf, which I can't wait for. I think it's great. It's bonkers. Like, honestly, I was trying. I mean, I know a lot of weird shit goes on in Bronze Age Marvel. This has got to be up there.
It feels like it, huh?
It feels like it's at least top 3. Like taking a werewolf that isn't a supernatural a science werewolf, just like Morbius is a science vampire. It's a science werewolf, Moonstone. But then this just out of nowhere, just suddenly into a sorcery epic in space. Like, that's just, I mean, it's just so damn cool and weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing particularly weird about any of the elements alone, like Weird World or a werewolf book, or, you know, but once you start putting them all together, it gets infinitely weird, and it's never weird enough, but I'll take it. I'll take it all.
Yeah.
I can always get weirder. You know?
No, I loved it. I'm looking forward to next issue. I'm looking forward to talking about this with Brad, because, you know, we teased that this is what was going to happen to Man Wolf with Brad, and I know that he's just been waiting because this is so up his alley.
Yeah, for me it was a solid issue. I would have minded a little bit of tightening up. Maybe I felt like that stopping everything and flashing back one whole page to the entire AWOL saga, and then another page showing us what we missed, kind of hindered the vibe, the pacing for me.
Yeah, I think it's worked in previous issues, but this one, it felt a little labored. And the 88 and a half hours to the 62 hours, like we were talking about last episode, like it's kind of a B movie version of Kubrick's The Killing.
Yeah, it's not as effective as David thinks it is.
No, it is not.
It's interesting as a a novelty or something like that, but it's not something that you need to keep calling back to through a trade.
No,
unless it has an actual function in the story, which it doesn't. Like it doesn't. That's what we were laboring about with Tim, right? Like, does this serve anything? All it did was give John a head start of 2 days.
Yeah,
or 4 days.
There's no narrative function going on here.
Yeah. Cool. Well, George did some cool stuff in here. Everybody did a pretty good job. I like the Captain Crunch, Colonel Sanders guy. I thought the names were a little disappointing, honestly.
The
Garth
names are
Lambert.
Very disappointing.
Sorry,
Lambert, Christopher Lambert.
I Gord June's like, okay, I don't like it, but I can ride with that.
Yeah, Garth was weird. It was just like, it's Gorjune and Kevin.
Yeah. It's like when people name their pets human names.
It's always weird.
Dan, come here, Dan. You're a good kitty, aren't you, Dan?
Yeah. It's weird every time.
Gary, the monitor lizard. Yeah. So I think I'm just excited to talk to Mr. Brad.
Yeah, me too.
So as far as mail goes, unfortunately, we mentioned this was the penultimate issue. So the next issue was the final issue. It's the one that I actually owned. As sort of like a Marvel Tales, I think, of the Man-Wolf. But that was the final issue of Creatures on the Loose, despite the fact that George and David had planned several more issues and created them. But at some point, somebody had to make that call, that visit. How would that work? Do you know? Would they call somebody into editorial and drop the axe there, or did they have their own offices that they were?
Remember what it talked about last time we talked about this was somehow the circulation department was in on it, like the numbers people. It was actually, but I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see those numbers, which I know we never will.
Yeah.
But remember how it went from, there were still backups and Creatures on the Loose, but the killer covers obviously boosted sales. So it went to a full, 18-page story. And then, I don't know, must have fallen off the last couple issues. But also, like, the horror titles are starting to go at this point.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if the story, I would love to talk to somebody who knows. Maybe Linda Lessman. I think hiring Kraft to take this thing over was them seeing that the peak of the sales of the monster books and saying, if this is going to survive, it's got to be something different.
Yeah.
This kid's got a kooky idea. Conan still sells like gangbusters, and we've won awards for, Windsor and Thomas's work.
Yep.
Smith, sorry, not Windsor. I think they were just saying, let's give it one more shot. I feel like, I guess I'm just saying, like, they ordered, how many did Kraft write and George draw? 6?
Yep.
So they ordered 6 and canceled it 4 in. That seems like a premature cutting bait.
Yeah, it does. But, mid 70s Marvel, I mean, there's someone at the wheel, but the person at the wheel is changing every 6 months to a year. And,
so,
things are starting to, just from reading, a couple books on this, and mid to late 70s, things are starting to go off the rails a little bit at Marvel. Like, there's just, and you and I have talked about how as the 70s wind down, there's not as much memorable stuff going on, aside from the X-Men, obviously, which is, the greatest thing. But a lot of the other Marvel titles just, I don't know, they're just not
slumpy.
They are. It's a slump. Aside from a few titles where some of the greatest comics are ever made are being created, a lot of the ancillary titles are going downhill. Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I wonder if any of that is, how much of that is like, you hear these stories about some, major label like Warner Brothers or something like that. Like, somebody getting some sweetheart deal or whatever, get this big advance, blah, blah. This person's sweet on this new band that they picked up and signed. And then that dude gets fired. Some new dude comes in. He's like, I don't like him.
Yep.
Like, cut him. And like, we lost $500,000. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And it's just, how much of that is happening? We're just like somebody changing seats and someone be like, I don't care. We're not that deep in. I have no feels for this. So
I think it's probably a little bit of that. I think their title count is getting unwieldy as well, since Marvel's strategy has just been
bloated.
Flood the fucking market, push DC off the shelves.
And it worked.
It totally worked. I mean, it destroyed Skywald. It destroyed everything else. So yeah, I mean, it
made mediocre Marvel comics for several years.
Yep. A lot of titles meant a lot of titles were very mediocre. So yeah.
Well, at any rate, I say that a lot. Sorry. Let me have a different opening phrase. Well, that being said,
love it.
At some point, somebody got called into somebody's office or somebody visited somebody's office and said, hey guys, bad news. And so there was an essay written that was published in the letters column of the next issue, which explains this. You're holding in your hands the last issue of Creatures on the Loose. I can't remember if they had already decided at that point to use those issues for Marvel Premiere 45 and 46.
I don't know.
I feel like those sat on a shelf for a few minutes.
Yeah, I think they were done. I don't know. We'll do our due diligence and come back with that next episode.
Okay. But at any rate, we know the writing's on the wall.
Yep.
And this title's done. And so they were kind enough to let the story wrap with 2 issues in Marvel Premiere, and then John Jameson was on his own. And we're going to follow some of those adventures on his own. There's some fun ones. Just not to where he has a mullet. I don't want to see a mullet in a comic book.
I know you don't. That's why we stop in 1989.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no mullets.
No mullets.
Unless, actually, when he is Steve Rogers' personal pilot, there's some fun adventures. Particularly when the Cap turns into a werewolf.
That's the Cap Wolf saga, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's do our shout outs to our Patreon Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So here's the thing. We are on Patreon and we are supported by some of our biggest boosters, and they get access to all kinds of cool content like a bonus show. There's a video bonus show and an audio version. I highly recommend you check out the video one. It's made for video and you're having the full experience if you can see what we're talking about. We talk about werewolf movies, other comics we're reading, music that we're into. I thought about expanding it and even talk about some just personal stories, like some like I've hinted at a story to you before about what happened to me when I was a kid that has a weird association with Ramblin' Rod, Yeah. I was like, we could have story time on here and tell some interesting stories.
I love it. Yeah.
Mini Moth, the podcast, The Moth. Yeah, so you guys should check that out. And we do bonus stuff that's just for that. I'm currently editing a video of Jacob's last DJ appearance at a Twilight Rummage sale where he spun records and he would curate these playlists, very thoughtful and cool work. And I went there and filmed him with my wife doing his last one, and we're editing that together for a little mini doc about him. That's going to be something that we're probably going to share with everybody. But things like that are for Pack Brothers and Sisters or Moon Beast or whatever only. And so check out our Patreon page and hop on board and support us. And even if you can't do that right now, I get it. I do. You can still go and vote for who we should cover in season 4, which Bronze Age supernatural character.
That's right. It's open to everyone. We want everyone's input on this.
And we don't have a hard stop on it. There's no poll ending date by any means, but I think that once the data slows down to a very small trickle, we'll make a decision and announce that. But
there's definitely a top 3.
Yes. And you can still suggest names for the rebranded show, though. And when we do get that shirt done, the person who suggested the one we chose, if we chose one of those, gets a shirt. So
I have a favorite already. I'm not telling you, but I have a favorite.
I told you we're not going to do anything about big dongs. I'm sorry, my daughter could hear this someday.
Fine.
It's not anything.
It's always about the younger generation with you.
It is. It's about the kids.
Yep. Always about the kids.
All right. So thank you to our Pack brothers and sisters, Michael G., Tim Tucker, Brian from Marvel by the Month, Josh Link, Jeff Fitzpatrick, Caleb, Ben M., Michelle from Moonlit Comics, Mark Nivens, Rob Haferman, Russ from Tomes of Evil, Tony Iupi, Ryan from Across the Bifrost, Brad Elmore, Johnny Turner, and Jackson T. Overstreet. Thank you very much for your support, gang. We appreciate it so much, and we'll see you on the bonus show after this. We're going to be talking about the third Ginger Snaps movie, right, Jacob?
That's right. You said you wanted a little break, but no, because we saw it was leaving Tubi, so we jumped on it and watched it. Ginger Snaps Back, the beginning.
Yes, I keep people's wallets in mind, so if it can be free, let's do it. So we hadn't announced what we're going to watch, so it was an easy switch.
Yep.
And what are you going to be talking about? Something called...
I'm going to be talking about the Image comic series from 2014 called Mirror by Emma Rios and Huai Lim. And
I know Emma Rios.
Yes. And Emma Rios is, I think she is my favorite modern comic artist of all time. She is best known for co-creating Pretty Deadly with Kelly Sue DeConnick. And she is just fucking incredible. And she did a series. It's kind of like a science fantasy future series called Mirror. And it is awesome. And I don't think it got enough press or publicity. So I always try to bring it up with people that I think might enjoy it.
You said it's about 3 trades worth?
2 trades. Just
2 trades.
10 or 11 issues, I think, total.
And it wrapped?
Yeah, it wrapped.
Okay. I need to read this then.
That's really good.
Tell them where they can reach out to us, Jacob.
Well, if you just want to send us a good old-fashioned email, we are at werewolfbyNightPodcast@gmail. We're also on Instagram, Werewolf by Night Podcast, separated by underscores. We are on Twitter at Werewolf Podcast. And yeah, but you can also contact us on Patreon if you're a member. Send us a message there. We have a lot of fun messaging with people on there. And so any of those things, we're always looking for 5-star reviews that you could give us on Apple Podcasts, whatever other platform you listen to. Give us a 5-star review, say some nice shit about us, take a little pic of that and send it our way, and I will send you a pack of Werewolf by Night buttons made from real Werewolf by Night comics.
Yep.
That's right.
No werewolves were harmed in the making of those buttons, so.
Nope. Just beautiful old comic books. That's some newsprint in button form.
Yeah, do that. Let's do that. And I believe Stapled Spine issue 10, the horror fanzine, is coming out, and I saw our name on the cover.
Our name's on the cover. We have something to do with the content inside there. So are we going to get an issue? We got to get the issue.
I was at Floating World Comics, and I eyeballed the zine rack, and I was like, damn it, it's not out yet. I need to ask them if they are going to get any issues in. And then I saw that Jack had posted I just wrapped it like a day later.
Okay,
so.
Good. Yeah, so we'll have to get that.
Yeah.
We'll get it from Jack.
And if it's a
hit piece.
job,
I know it's a hit piece.
If it's a smear campaign thing,
yeah, I know.
Although he did say he found his issues of the Supernaturals.
I saw that.
We're still interested in hard copies.
So we need to wait till we get those from him.
Let's get those from him and
slam him.
And then just fucking hit back
Go
hard.
after him. Yeah, we're going to hit hard.
Like Biggie. Just hang him over a balcony, hotel balcony by his ankle. And that was Suge.
That was Suge.
That was Suge that did that to Vanilla Ice, right?
I think so.
While we're showing our age here. God damn.
Ooh, boy.
Anyway. West Coast, East Coast, it's all good.
You know, we're old.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, listeners. Join us next week when we have Brad Elmore on. He's always a hoot to have on. We love Brad. Till we meet again, neath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.